So, you know what? The other day we had officially one of the coldest days
Yeah.
so far this year. It was minus 24, the actual temperature. It
Hmm.
wasn't like the what it feels like. The weather was actually pretty nice. It was, like sunny, there was no wind, but still, I was going shopping, grocery shopping, and I was all like bundled up,
Hmm.
my hat, my scarf, my winter coat, my winter boots. And then there was a guy walking his dog, just wearing shorts. I mean, he had a jacket on, but he was like wearing just shorts and like boots. And I mean, I've been in Canada for 9 years, and it's not the first time I saw someone like this on a weather like this,
Yeah, yeah.
but every time it blows my mind.
I feel like this is just a normal sight in Canada.
Yeah.
It's just like I think people who are from like out of town, maybe they get a little bit shocked by this, but
Yeah.
it's so normal. Even me, like if I need to like run out to my car to get something, I'll just go in my bare feet in the
Okay.
snow. Like
No.
it's just a thing. But
Sorry, another thing, and I actually wanted to ask you about this. Okay, so when I see an adult man walking his dog wearing just shorts and a
mhm.
winter jacket and boots, it's one thing. But then I leave not far away from the school, and then I see those young girls walking with their like naked legs and like
Mhm.
super short skirts.
Mhm.
They're wearing Uggs for sure and like winter jackets, but their legs are like literally blue with cold. Like blue with cold. So I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you if you were doing the same when you were at school.
Like uniforms?
Yeah, uniforms, but I mean like not wearing like no tights, no like pants, nothing. Just like skirt.
No, I would like so when I was in high school, we had school uniforms.
Hmm.
And yeah, we had to wear kilts. But in the winter, I would wear, and most people would wear their pajamas
Yeah.
and then wear their kilts over, and then they would take off the pajamas when they
Yeah.
get to school.
Okay. I see that too, but I also see the girls
But
who don't do
yeah,
that.
yeah, I think that's pretty just a
Yeah.
common sight that you'll see here.
Okay.
But as I was saying before, you are officially a Canadian citizen. You
I am.
officially became a Canadian citizen last year.
Uh-huh.
So, you gotta kind of get used to that culture a little bit now,
That is
right?
so much true. Now I
You,
have and feel more pressure to follow Canadian
yeah.
culture and everything that is
So
happening.
get those shorts ready for the
Yeah.
winter.
Not me. Definitely not me. I don't think that I will ever get to that level of being
Yeah,
Canadian.
yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I guess that it would be a very nice opportunity for us to talk about Canadian culture and
Hmm.
Canadian slang and some things that are
Yeah.
very, very specific for Canada.
So okay, one question that I wanted to ask you, like what is something that you have noticed here that you feel is like specifically Canadian culture?
Specifically Canadian culture. The first thing that comes to mind is famous Canadian, how are you?
The famous Canadian, how are you?
Yes.
What do you mean?
So, how are you in
Yeah.
Canada is mainly used as just hello, right?
Yeah.
So when you are somewhere in public place, like let's say you're at a bank and you have to talk to a bank teller, or you are at a supermarket and you go to a cashier to like scan and pay for the things that you bought, or like any other store, people would normally greet you with, how are you?
Yeah.
And they don't actually want to know how you're doing. Please don't start telling them about the things that are going on in your life.
Okay. I see what
That's
you
what
mean.
I mean.
Yeah,
Because, like,
yeah.
in Canada, people use how are you? I mean, especially if they're strangers to you, they use it as just a form of hello. This is like one of the polite things that they do.
Yeah.
And like the normal response to it would be just like hi or
Yeah.
hello, or you can also say, how are you?
That's true. It's almost like a script, right? Like when you
Exactly.
go, say, like when you go to like a McDonald's, the cashier at the front will say, "Hi, how are you?" or "Hi, how
Uh-huh.
can I help you today?" And you will say like, "Oh, I'm good. How are you?" Right?
Uh-huh.
It's almost automatic. There's actually a
Exactly.
lot of like funny videos and stuff on TikTok where like you somebody responds to you somebody responds to your how are you in a different way that's off script, and then you respond in a way that's like not correct or cringy. Like, have you seen those clips?
Yes.
So funny, but that's exactly like I've been guilty of those situations too because
Yeah.
it's so ingrained. You're
It
right.
is so
Hey,
ingrained.
how are you? Oh, I'm good. How are you? Good. Okay, well, I would like to order a blah blah blah.
Uh-huh.
It's just part of the script.
It is a part of the
And
script.
that is like Canadian. Canadian.
Yeah, I guess so, because like back home we don't normally do that. You
Yeah.
just say hello to people, and like if someone is your old friend, if you haven't seen them for a while,
Yeah.
or you're talking to them on the phone, then of course you're asking, "How are you?" Meaning that please do tell me about like what's happening in your life. And when you're in public spaces, as we mentioned before, like bank or any kind of a store, whatever, people will just greet you with like hi or welcome or hello, how can I help you?
Yeah.
They're not going to be asking you how you're doing.
That's true. You know what? Now that you think of it, like whenever I actually want to know how someone am, I don't say how are you. I say like how is everything going
How's
with you
everything
or
going? What's
how are
happening?
things?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. I never
Yeah.
honestly I never even thought of it.
Yeah, so that thing
Hmm.
I kind of knew about it. So whenever I came to Canada and people were asking me in public places how am I was not telling them about like all of the things happening in my life. But still it's something that like triggers your brain as non-Canadian, as
Yeah.
not being used to this culture. When someone is asking you, how are you? You're like, oh, you know what? Listen, so my mom did this.
Let
And
me
oh, at work, oh, things are
let me
not
tell you
going
about
as
my day.
exactly. Buckle up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. But we also, I think when we're, speaking of Canadian culture and like talking to maybe people we don't know or are not our friends or acquaintances, there's this whole thing around like small talk,
Small talk.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I actually quite enjoy it. And
Yeah.
I do not know if you notice it, like we were in a lot of public places together. I love striking up conversations with strangers, or if they talk to me, I would like be very happy to
Respond back.
respond back and support the conversation. Again, depending on a stranger, if it's some kind of a weird person, I would not do that. But the funny thing is that, again, back home, we don't have this culture about
Yeah.
the small talk. So, small talk is a very small conversation that you can strike up with a total stranger
Yeah.
anywhere in public place. You can be on an elevator or waiting for the elevator.
Yeah.
You can be on a bus stop. You can be in the same line waiting for whatever,
Groceries.
groceries. In a restaurant, even like sitting at the neighboring tables, like you can have like a very little conversation, not, of course, personal one, just about, I don't know, the weather for one thing.
The
They
weather,
love to talk about
the cost of something. Like, you know what?
exactly.
Personally, a lot of the small talk for me happens in line at the grocery store, right? So, like, if I'm in line at the grocery store, somebody in front of me will be like, "Hey, how much were those tomatoes? Where did you get those?" Or
Uh-huh.
"Hey, like, have you tried these before?" Or whatever. Or something about like, "Oh my gosh, it's so cold outside today." Or like, "Whoa, why is this line taking so long?" Or just like little bits of conversation
Yeah.
here and there.
Yeah. And they're also like, there is no particular script, excuse
No.
me, because the topic can be very different, but you will just exchange a couple of phrases
Yeah.
and go by your day.
Exactly.
But the thing is that back home, people normally would not do that. And people would think that you are weird or strange
So it's
if
like
you
a
start
don't.
doing it. I mean, if you're at a supermarket and someone buys something and you're like, oh, like, do you usually buy it? I've never tried it. Is it good? Blah, blah. It's a normal thing.
Yeah.
But if you're just waiting for the bus at the bus stop, you can ask someone like, oh, when was like the last bus? Or like, oh my God, did I miss it? Or like, blah, blah, blah. Was this bus here or that bus here? But just like come to someone and be like, it's cold today, eh? Like, we don't do that.
Well, that's a little weird.
Yeah.
That's going up to someone and saying, "It's cold today." That's a little bit weird. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's more of like, "Oh my gosh, can you believe this weather lately?"
Yeah.
Or
Oh, the weather. Canadians love to
we
talk about the
love
weather.
talking about the weather.
You know what? It actually makes a lot of sense because the weather is pretty crazy in Canada, right?
It's a very easy topic of
It is a
conversation.
very easy topic of conversation, how like beautiful the fall is, or like how super hot, like the heat wave now, oh my God, or how cold it is, or the
Hmm.
snowstorm. So the weather is, and by crazy, I don't mean like bad. I just mean that it's so I don't know, variable. A
Yeah.
lot of stuff is happening with the weather. So it is a, I
It's
guess,
a big topic. Even
valid
like,
topic.
you know what? You are Canadian because the first thing you said to me today was like, "Oh, it's not as cold as I thought it would be today." Literally, the first thing she said to me this today when we met up
Yeah.
was about the
It's also a pretty cold day today.
it is
Yeah.
it is quite chilly, but as you said, not
Yeah,
as cold
not
as
as
you
cold.
thought,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, okay, so thinking about like Canadian culture, I think, I've lived abroad and I lived abroad as like, I guess you would say as a representative of
Mhm,
Canada because
mhm.
I was a teacher, right? I was an
Yeah.
English teacher. And so there were a lot of parts of my job where I would introduce my culture to my students, right? So
Hmm.
I did think about this and I did have to like kind of notice a lot of things a lot. And um, I think one big thing about Canadian culture is a couple of things. So
Okay. I
first of
mean,
all,
there are so
I mean,
many
there's so
things,
many, so
but
many things,
yeah.
but okay, this has to do with, I guess, like how we conduct ourselves in public. Okay.
Okay.
So one big thing is personal space.
Hmm.
So in Canada, I guess because like we don't have such a high population and we're used to a little bit of space and not being like pushed up and so close against people all the time, that personal space is considered to be like good etiquette,
Hmm.
right? So people always say like shoulders length apart, which or arms length apart.
Hmm.
When you're talking to someone face to face, or even when you're in line at the grocery store, you
Yeah.
don't want to be like right up behind somebody, right? You give them a little bit of space.
Hmm.
You give a few feet and then let them do their thing, and then you make your way
Yeah.
forward. When you're on public transportation, for example,
Yeah.
right?
Unless it's the rush hour. Yeah.
Unless it's rush hour, you tend to give a little bit of space. And it's also like extremely weird. I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day. Like if you're in an empty subway or there's just a few people on the subway and you're sitting, if somebody sits right next to
Yeah.
you,
It's gonna be weird.
that's weird,
That's very
right?
weird.
Like the etiquette and just the normal
Hmm.
sane thing to do is like find a seat far enough away, right?
Yeah.
Just the personal space, even in public, right?
That is so true.
When you're waiting in line, when you're waiting at like a stop sign, right? Like you're not standing right next to people. You're
Hmm.
all kind of spread out, right?
Hmm.
So I think personal space is a big thing.
Yeah, you know what? I did notice that. And I guess that after the pandemic, this thing became like a norm, like even more norm than it used to be before.
Mm-hmm.
But all of the things that Hannah mentioned, and then you're going to a restaurant or to a cafe and you are sitting like literally next to a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
You know how like there are some restaurants, like good restaurants, not like bad restaurants, where they have this like super long table or like super sorry, or a line of like small tables, but they are all standing next to like one sofa and it's a very long sofa. So you can be sitting here, you have your table in front of you and you have the person that you're dining or whatever in front of you. And then like as close as Hannah is sitting to me, like you have a stranger sitting to you and eating and having like their conversation or date. So many places like this, like tons of them,
I think
tons
that's
of them,
yeah, but I think that's like
especially downtown.
sorry, I think that's like more specifically Toronto, just because of it's a big city. Yeah.
Okay, maybe,
Uh
but then again, like
yeah.
it's this is what's happening.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, I think just like that, just general public transportation etiquette is very different that I found in here than in other places. So like
Hmm.
not just the personal space, but queuing, right? So it is very I do know that like Canadians are known and it is part of our culture to queue for lines
Hmm.
even on the subway or the bus, right?
Yeah.
Like there is a line, like you don't push yourself forward. You wait in line, you let the people off first, and then you get in. You try to be respectful of like the people around you. So if it's during rush hour, you
Take
take
off
off
your backpack.
and hold on to it. It's a huge pet peeve
It
of
is a
mine
huge
when
beef
people have their backpack just
Yeah.
like in people's faces when people are trying to cram
And
it
then
in.
they're trying like to look around like
Yeah.
what's happening
And
there
they're
and
hitting everybody. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Not okay. Don't do that,
Pretty
kids.
rude, I would say,
Yeah.
and I would say it's culture. I would say it's cultural because this is just more consideration of the people around you.
Hmm.
Like all of these things together, like queuing and taking off your bag and or not putting your bag on the chair next to you
Hmm.
or um, you know, personal space.
Personal
It's all
space.
just
Yeah.
like consideration for people around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are very good ones,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well,
And I mean, they are something that I really enjoy
yeah.
having here.
Yeah.
Like because your personal space is your personal
Yeah.
space.
I like it. Like, and when everybody kind of does that, it feels more respectful and it
Hmm.
feels like
Safer, I
order.
would say. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Order, and it also feels
Safe.
safer because like whenever someone gets like too close to you, you're getting like very alarmed and alerted, like
Yeah.
what is happening? Like
Yeah.
you're way too close.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
What else? What other Canadian cultural things?
Very Canadian cultural things. I do have a couple, and one of them is it was a very big cultural shock to me how people celebrate their birthdays here.
Mm.
So the first thing was about people don't mind celebrating their birthdays before their actual birthday.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
us back home, you can celebrate it a day, 2 week, months later, but not before. I mean, it's some superstition. I don't even know what the superstition is. Probably just like it's bad. It's bad luck to celebrate your birthday
Like counting your chickens
before.
before they hatch type of
Maybe.
thing.
I don't know. But also, another great thing is that back home, when you're inviting people for your birthday, whether you're inviting them to your place or you're inviting them to a restaurant or a club or whatever, people expect, and it's a norm, that you are going to provide food and drinks and
Oh.
they're going to bring presents for you.
Mm.
Either they will decide themselves what to bring you, or they will bring you just money, or they will ask you, like, oh, is there anything specific or particular that you want as a present? So people are expecting, and you are expected, and it's a norm
Hmm.
to put food on the table, and provide some drinks, as opposed to Canada. So in Canada,
Sorry, just a little
yeah,
bit of a thing here. We do celebrate this way for children.
okay,
Yeah.
yes,
This
for
is
children, yeah.
normal for children. The parents host the birthday party.
Yes,
They provide the food, the entertainment, all of that stuff. Everybody brings a gift. Sorry,
yes.
continue.
But for
Adult.
adults, if you are inviting people to your birthday, to celebrate your birthday, it doesn't matter at your place or you're inviting people to a restaurant or to a bar, people are expected to pay for whatever they're ordering at the bar or restaurant, whatever, but they're also expected to buy you drinks
Yeah.
because this is your birthday. But they don't bring you presents
No
normally.
presents.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
presents. And I was
Yeah.
like, and I mean, this is actually great.
Yeah, it's nice
It's
because
yeah,
it's less
it's
pressure.
less pressure on the person who is celebrating the birthday. It's
Exactly.
less pressure on people to like, oh my God, what do I bring as a present?
Yeah.
And it's like you don't have to think like about dietary restrictions, which is actually another great cultural thing that
Mm.
people are being very, very respectful of other people's dietary restrictions.
Yeah.
So if you're hosting a party, whether you're cooking or you're doing potluck or you're ordering food, you're always asking people if anyone has any dietary restrictions.
Yeah.
And you try to make up for people who maybe are allergic to something, but also if someone is a vegetarian or
Yep.
a vegan, you always try to provide options for people with those diets, which is
Yep.
great, I
Yeah, yeah,
guess.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I never thought about that. You're right. It's a little bit different because even like uh planning the party or like
Hmm.
setting a day and time for the party, the birthday person doesn't usually do it, right? It's
Yeah.
usually introduced the plan is like introduced or brought up by a person in the friend group,
Hmm.
right? So it's usually a person in the friend group that says, "Hey, it's like this person's birthday coming up.
Yeah.
What should we do? What day are we free?" And then we all will go
Hmm.
out. In my group of all of my groups of friends, we will set a day and then we will find a place and then we treat and we split the cost for the birthday person.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so whatever we do, if it's a restaurant, if it's like a spa,
Mm.
we do spas a lot. We do
We're
like
adults. Yes, we do
we are
spas.
adults.
Mhm.
Yeah, we do like spas or we'll do like massages,
Vacations.
staycations, we'll do like break free or activate like these types of activities, this type of thing. Yeah, we just kind of split it amongst
Yeah.
everybody else who's coming.
So a note to some of our listeners out there, maybe you guys want to implement this thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And you know, speaking of, so if you invite people to your house, there's also a couple of like cultural things, right? Every culture, every country
Mhm.
has a different way of like what happens when you invite someone to your house, right? So I think in Canada, one big thing that I notice is not really I guess more because of where we are, like we're so close to America, and this is
Mhm.
not a part of American culture, is that we like take off our shoes when we
Oh,
enter the
okay.
house,
Yeah.
right? Like I don't know a single person here that keeps their shoes on in the house.
I don't know either. And for me, it's also a norm to take off your shoes because
Yeah,
back home we also do this.
yeah, yeah,
Like you don't walk in your shoes in
yeah.
the house.
But I have been to like people's houses in the States and just
I cannot
everywhere
imagine.
on the carpet,
Honestly, I
on
can't
the
imagine
bed,
it.
resting on their like coffee table.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I've been to the States. Their sidewalks are not squeaky clean. Nope.
they are not
No.
squeaky clean.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, yeah, I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's something that I noticed is like brought up a lot in terms of
Uh-huh.
Canadian culture. Although I know tons of other
Hmm.
cultures,
They do the
countries,
same.
they do the same.
Yeah.
I think more taking off the shoes in the house is more common than not taking off the shoes.
Uh-huh.
If I were to like if you
Yeah.
were to take all the countries in the world and ask a person in each country.
A little cultural thing. It's not a Canadian culture, but back home culture that when you come to someone's house or people come to your house, they're expected to take off their shoes, and what is expected of you is to offer them slippers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
And
here,
so,
but in
yeah.
Korea too.
Yeah,
We do
yeah.
that. Yeah,
So
we
you have like slippers for every family member, and
yeah.
also you have a couple of pairs of slippers for the
Yeah,
guests,
yeah. I
which
mean,
is weird, if you think about it. It's like, yeah.
offering slippers is weird.
No, but having like pairs of slippers for the guests.
Oh. Uh, yeah, I get. I mean, my parents do have like a basket in front of their
Yeah.
door with like 20, 30 pairs of slippers. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, that's a whole another topic. Yeah.
It's a whole other thing. But anyway, speaking of like parties and like get-togethers and stuff, are there any
Uh-huh.
differences that you have like found?
Oh yeah, another thing. Actually, I was at a party like a couple of weeks ago it was my friend's birthday party, and it was a party at home. And normally this friend invites a bunch of people to her place, and
Hmm.
people just come and like mingle, walking around. There is no
Hmm.
like table that people are sitting down, eating, and are all engaged in the same conversation, which is happening back home normally.
Hmm.
So it's like little groups of people just talking about like different topics.
Yeah.
And then at some point, somebody joins the group or somebody leaves the group and goes and joins another group. So you're just like walking around and talking to different
Like
people.
mingling and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So I was telling my mom and my sister about this, and my mom was like, I cannot imagine it. She's like, I just can't imagine it.
Oh.
And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Because I can also think about like the parties that I had back home. Normally, if the party is happening at home, there is the table. Everybody's sitting at the table, and maybe you can have like a little side conversation with the person sitting next to you or like across the table from you. But normally, everybody's engaged in the same conversation. And I'm
Oh.
like, okay, on one hand, maybe it's good. On the other hand, if there are 10 people sitting and like engaged in the same conversation, there is one person who is just like blah 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 blah
It's
blah
hard
talking.
to get a say.
Exactly. And it's hard to get a say. So at some point you're just like sitting there like quietly. So that's
Oh.
another thing that I remembered different like parties. And if it's not a club, if you're at a home party, normally this is how it's happening.
So it's just one group and one
Exactly.
conversation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Now that I think of it, that's honestly like that
Yeah,
idea has never crossed my mind, and it seems like it would be very difficult,
it is difficult.
especially with like more than let's say like six or seven people.
Yeah.
Because then, of course, you always have a couple of people that dominate, right? At
Exactly.
least when you do like little groups, you can kind of
Yeah.
like switch and move and have like deeper conversations, to be
Yeah,
honest, right? Because when
exactly.
you're having a conversation with just a big group of people, it kind of like what do you talk
Exactly.
about?
First of all, what do you talk about? And
Yeah.
then it's like it turns into like personal anecdotes, and like one person
Mhm.
tells their personal anecdote, and then another person tells it like, oh, you know what? I had a very similar story. And then they tell their anecdote, and someone like may comment on it or be like, oh my God,
Interesting.
yeah, we were actually together, like blah, blah, blah. And everybody's sitting and listening, like, uh-huh, uh-huh.
That's not even
Yeah.
like that's not even a I never even like thought of that
Yeah.
of a different way of having
Neither, you know
party.
what? Neither. Until like I had this conversation with my mom and sister, and my mom was like, you know what? Like I can't imagine it. And I was like, you know what? I don't remember like back home that we did that, like having little, you can have a little side conversation
Sure,
with
yeah,
someone,
yeah, yeah.
but then like because someone else is talking and everybody's listening, you like, like a good student, like you're turning back,
Yeah.
tuning in, listening to whatever people are
Oh my
talking
God,
about.
that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Okay, so yeah, parties in general, I think in
Mm.
Canada, probably this is also like American culture too, but when you say house party, we don't think about these like sophisticated adult like people standing with their like wine glasses and
Okay.
mingling with each other while there's like jazz music playing.
Okay.
Although this is yeah, this is the norm for adult house
Uh-huh.
parties. I think one big part of like Canadian American culture are house parties, like young people house
Okay.
parties. So
Project X or whatever the name of that film was.
like any teen movie that you have seen, like any Hollywood teen movie, you know, where you have house parties, there's so countless. There's so many scenes where there's like crazy parties, there's underage
Parents
kids, parents
away.
are away. This is actually a part of life here.
Uh-huh.
Like I went to my first house party when I was 16 maybe,
Okay.
and similar situation. My friend's parents were away, and so you know my friend invited a few people over, they invited a few people, they invited a few people, they invited a few people, and by the time the party came around it was just swarmed with people that like she did not know. Just
Wow.
so many people. uh
Was it a big house?
yeah, it was a big
Uh-huh.
house. It was just like a typical house. But yeah, like house parties, we would have parties like that. There were also parties like it just in people's basements, really, like as a
Mm-hmm.
hangout spot
Mm-hmm.
as well. But yeah, like lots of um yeah, lots of memories. I would just I think maybe I could just say what you see in the movies
It's
is
true.
uh, of course, some are like stretches, but quite
Uh-huh.
accurate in terms of like the vibe and
Interesting.
how they happen
Yeah.
and things like that. So yeah, that's a big part of
No.
our culture.
Good, because no, our no, when I was a teenager, our parties were somewhere like at a club. And of
Uh,
course, it wasn't a very good club because they would let teenagers in the club, you know? So,
yeah, all ages
yeah.
clubs are not.
Or just like somewhere like in the street at the beach, like
Yeah,
live
yeah.
by the water.
But these
Yeah.
house parties, it's the first place that I tried alcohol. It was the first place, like first time I got drunk, first time I
Okay,
had to
of
like
course.
go home and like pretend that I wasn't
But
drunk, you
you,
know what I mean? Like go
wow.
home and
Okay, I
try to
heard
act
about,
normal to my parents.
okay, because I heard about people who are sober pretending they're drunk, but people who are drunk pretending that they're sober. That's
Of course,
that's a deed.
you
That's
go
a
home
deed.
and you have
Yeah.
to
Act
act
normal.
normal
Yeah.
in front of your
After you
parents.
had like a six pack or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Speaking of six packs, do you guys know what a six pack is? And I'm not talking about the abs,
Which is also a six pack.
which is also a six pack, by the way. But in Canada, it's Is it only Canadian or American slang as well, like from the
I
US?
feel like it's also American.
Yeah, so it's the pack of beers, of can of beers, because
Yeah,
usually they sell them in like six.
sixes.
So yeah, six pack is there anything
Okay.
else? I guess there's
So,
something like was 24 of
yeah, so a case of beer comes in
hmm
24s. So instead of saying
Okay.
a case of beer or 24 can case of beer or 24 bottle,
Oh, so
case of-
many
we
words.
say 2-4.
Okay.
Like
That's yeah, I've heard
I'm
this.
coming over. I'm gonna pick up a 2-4
Uh-huh.
or something like that. Or we're going
Awesome.
camping this weekend. Let's grab a 2-4 or whatever.
Perfect. So 2-4 is a case of beer with 24 cans.
24 cans. Yeah.
Okay. Is it only about cans or bottles as
Bottles
well?
too. Bottles too.
Okay.
They come
Okay.
in like the big
Uh-huh.
boxes that you can
Uh-huh.
just buy. Um, a Mickey is
What's a
like a
Mickey?
Mickey is like a 24 ounce or 16 ounce of like whiskey or rum. Honestly,
Really?
yeah, I'm not I
I've
was
never
never
heard
like
it.
I was more of like a beer drinker and coolers when I was younger, but
Mm-hmm.
not harder stuff, but some of the more experienced kids my age. I
I
don't know
love it
how else
how carefully you were trying to find the words.
they would yeah carry like bring Mickeys and stuff like that. Yeah,
Okay.
different like I guess like different
Okay, sorry. So Mickey is just a little bottle of like
hard liquor.
hard
But
liquor,
there
but like in a smaller bottle.
yes.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're getting into slang, which is fun because there
Yes.
is a lot of Canadian specific slang. So you brought up a
Uh-huh.
couple ones related to like alcohol drinking. What are
Alcohol.
some other ones that you have learned?
So one of the first ones that I had to learn the hard way was double double
Ah, a double double from Timmy's
from
or
Timmy's.
Tim's.
Yes, Timmy's or Tim's is a very popular coffee shop here in Canada, Tim Hortons, and very kindly and lovely by by the natives, by the locals. It's been called Timmy's or Tim's. And so at a Tim's, you can get a double double. And when I just came to Canada, first of all, most of the newcomers, they got hooked on French vanilla from Tim
That's
Hortons.
true.
My goodness, it's like a drug. It's so sweet, and I don't really like sweet things, guys. But that thing,
The flavor.
oh my God, the flavor, it's a drink, it's a hot drink, but I guess that you can also get it a cold brew.
Probably.
Anyway, I don't like cold coffee. Anyway, so it's a drink with caffeine
Yep.
and vanilla flavor, and it's so sweet and it's so good that you just like can't stop drinking it. So I was going to Tim Hortons and I was drinking this French vanilla thing for a very long time. And then I was like, okay, enough is enough. So I switched to regular coffee, one cream. Okay. And then whenever I'm in line and people before me, they order double double. And they just tell like the
Can I
person at
get a
the
medium
cashier,
double double,
can I get
please?
a medium double double? And the person is like, coming right up. Okay. So I was like very curious. And instead of asking someone, what is this? So I just I saw that it's a kind of a coffee, type of a coffee, which technically it is. So I come up to a cashier one day and I go, can I have double double one cream? She didn't have the same reaction as Helen has. She just looks at me, she stares at me, and she's like, she's like, blink, blink. Like I broke her, like error, error, connection lost. She's looking at me, I'm looking at her, and she's like, sorry. And I was like, can I get medium double double one cream? And she goes, I don't remember if she asked me if I knew what double double was, or she straight up explained to me that double double is actually coffee with two creams, two sugars. Yeah.
Hey,
And I was like,
how did you feel?
I felt like really stupid, to be honest. I felt like really weird because I was like, oh my God, first of all, it's logical, right? On the other hand, like I could have asked someone or even the cashier, like, hey, what's double double? I could Google it,
True.
but I never did.
Good
Yeah.
for you for taking that
Yeah.
risk, though.
And I was like, you know what? I don't want double double. I just want my regular coffee with one cream.
And that is how you learned about the double double.
And this is
That is
it's how I learned about double
that's
double.
unforgettable, memorable.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, very fun.
Okay, that's a good story. That was very good. Um, a couple of other, I guess, like slang or Canadian
Hmm.
words that I also taught when I was,
Hmm.
a representative of Canada, was the loonie.
But
The
yes,
loonie is our $1
point.
Canadian $1
Hmm.
coin. And the reason why it's called a loonie is because there is a picture of a loon, which is a bird that is very common here in Canada.
Hmm.
So we've got loonies. And then when the $2 coin was introduced much later,
Hmm.
just as because the loonie is called the loonie, they called the $2 coin a toonie.
A toonie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No relation to the picture on the toonie because it's a polar bear.
yeah.
But yeah, so Looney and Toonie is one
Loonies,
thing.
toonies.
Yeah.
Very fun, very
What
fun.
else is there?
I heard about something, yeah,
Toque?
about the hat, about the toque.
Yeah.
I was very much surprised. It's like a beanie. It's a kind of a hat. And
Beanie's different though.
really,
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
thought that they're very similar, like a beanie and a toque. Anyway, toque is, it does sound, it's a French word
Hmm.
from Quebecois, French. And yeah, but I heard people
Yeah.
saying toque here.
And then we also have I guess you would say like local slang, right? So
Yes,
things that
I
are very,
think.
Canada's a very big country, right? So there are slang words that are used in certain regions that are not used in others. And because we're, here in Toronto, the ones that we're very familiar with are Toronto
Mhm.
slangs. So one big one would be GTA,
GTA, it's
not
not a
not Grand Theft Auto, the video
not a
game.
game, yeah.
GTA means Greater Toronto Area,
Hmm.
which stands for like Toronto and then the large cities surrounding it.
Hmm.
We've also got, what else do we have?
TTC for
TTC.
like it's our transportation system,
Yeah, the TTC.
Toronto Transit Commission.
Yep.
Guess it's called. So you can say stuff like, "Oh, TTC is not TTCing today," and people will understand what you're.
There's also a little joke in Toronto
Oh
with
yes,
TTC.
uh-huh.
TTC means take the car.
Take the car. Yeah.
We've got little like nicknames. I wouldn't say necessarily slang, but nicknames for our lovely city. We have T dot. We
Hmm.
also have the six, which people say that it does come from Drake, right? Like Drake named Toronto the six, but there's also another kind of story behind it, but a lot of people say that. Trash Panda,
Trash panda for a raccoon.
raccoon, we
Yeah.
call them Trash Pandas. That's our little lovely nickname for them.
Yeah.
What else do we have?
Oh, the word for people who, usually older people who leave Canada for the harsh winter months.
Yes,
These, the birds of winter?
snowbirds.
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 Yeah,
Yeah,
snowbirds. It's like again, it's slang, but also a cultural thing, I
it
would
is a
say.
cultural thing.
People like to escape the snow, especially when you're older and you have the means.
Yeah.
They
You can
escape
go
down
somewhere
south.
like to
Yeah.
the United States or
Yeah.
Mexico, right? Like all of those
It's you know how
warmer countries.
birds migrate south for the
Hmm.
winter, and
Hmm.
these people do the same thing. That's why they're
Yeah.
called snowbirds, right? We also, I think, not necessarily slang, but in terms of language, our use of the word sorry.
Oh, yes, that is another famous thing.
So,
Hmm.
you know, we know that the definition of sorry is like you're apologizing, right? Like you do something bad, and so you say sorry. This is not how Canadians always use the word sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry
not
can
how they
be,
are wired.
yes.
Mm-mm.
Sorry is often one of the first words that come out of our mouth for anything. So,
Yeah.
I want to say excuse me, like somebody's in the way, I will say, "Oh, sorry." Or if I don't hear you and I want you to repeat something, I'll say sorry.
Hmm.
If I'm interrupting you, I'll say, "Oh, sorry."
Hmm.
Da 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 da. What other situations do we use sorry? Like
I mean, like
every
if you need to ask for information, like anywhere or
sorry, do
just,
you know where blah blah blah
uh-huh.
is? Um, even when yeah, I
Or
think
sorry, can you move your cart,
yeah,
please? Like if you're in a supermarket, like any kind of situation.
90% of the time we say the word sorry, we're not actually apologizing for
Hmm.
something. We're not actually apologizing. So
Yeah.
I think our use of sorry is a big thing in Canadian like slang slash culture.
Yeah.
And also something that I've noticed is I have found that people who come here, even native English speakers, they come here and they are confused with how we agree or disagree with you. Again, I think a large part of like Canadian culture is
I'm not sure
our
I'm following.
politeness.
Okay.
So, like, we're generally Canadians are known to be polite, right? Very different from being nice, right? If you think about politeness versus niceness, there is a
Mm-hmm.
difference. Canadians are not always nice, but they are polite. And that's why we say sorry a lot. And that's why we
Yeah.
have this reputation of being polite. But this also happens because we don't directly say yes or no to things.
Oh,
Okay?
okay.
So,
Hmm.
for example, let's say, Helen, you want to make plans with me, okay? And you say, "Hey, like let's go try this like new restaurant."
Uh-huh.
And I'll say, "Yeah, no, yeah. Let's go. Let's go."
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
no, yeah.
no is there, but
Yeah, no, yeah. When I say yeah, no, yeah, it means yes.
yeah,
I'm
no
a,
is canceled by the double
yes,
yeah.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
However, if I say yeah, no, then it means no. Or like no, yeah,
No.
no.
Hmm.
It means no. It's just kind of like a hedging way or like a softer way to agree or disagree. And I have found or heard that it is very Canadian.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah.
So yeah, lots. Oh my gosh, so much. I feel like there's more,
Oh,
so
there
much
is
more we can talk
so
about.
much more we can talk
Yeah.
about. Yeah. But I guess that we can leave it for maybe some other episode.
Sure.
Yeah. And maybe if you guys know some stuff about Canada that you've noticed while you are here, or maybe something that you've seen or read online, please let us know.
Yes.
We'd love to hear about
We
it.
would love to hear about it. So contact us at eslpoducateme at gmail.com or follow us on Instagram at poducateme.
Yes, and don't forget to tune in right now for our Language Lab episode.
Yes.
Okay, because now we are combining them for your convenience. Yes, and no matter what you guys do, keep listening, keep learning, and
Educate
educate
yourself.
yourself.
Stay tuned. We have the Language Lab coming up next. Hello, hello. In our episode today of Language Lab about Canadian culture and slang, we talked about weather extremes, everyday jobs, social habits, and those
Mhm.
little expressions that quietly reveal a lot about life in Canada.
That is so true. And so today we're taking those words out of a snowbank, we're brushing them off, and we're seeing how they actually work in real English. Let's go. And the first word, one of my favorite ones for the Canadian winters, is the word bundled up. And if you're bundled up, it means that you're wearing lots of warm layers. It's not about style, it's not about elegance. This is your deep commitment to surviving the Canadian winter.
Just trying to survive,
Just trying
right?
to survive.
Yeah, just trying
Yep.
not to get frostbite.
Hmm.
All right, next up we have the word kilt. Um, in the context that we were talking about, I was talking about in high school, our school uniforms. A kilt is made of like a pleated tartan, so it's like a plaid sort of skirt, and it is traditionally worn by men, especially in the Scottish
Hmm.
culture. However, we do wear them as like girls' uniforms in Canada. And yeah, surprisingly breezy for Canadian climate.
Yeesh. Yeesh. The next two words, we talked about them briefly in the episode, but we never talked about the difference between them. The words are beanie and toque. So the difference is that actually there is a difference because on one side the internet says like there is no difference. It's just like beanie is international and toque is very Canadian. On the other hand, apparently there is a difference because for a toque
Yep.
there has to be a pom-pom
Yes.
on the hat.
There's a
And for
pom-pom on the top.
beanie, like there is nothing on the
Exactly.
top.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
All right. The next word is heat wave. A heat wave is a period, just a few days of unusually hot weather. And I think Canadians, we tend to kind of panic during these because, we are generally prepared for snow, not heat. But we do surprisingly do get heat waves every summer.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Bank teller. Bank teller is the person who helps customers at a bank. And this person is not a storyteller, despite the name.
Hmm.
They are just telling you how the ATM works or where you can cash your checkout. I
Yes,
don't know.
that's right. Script. A script is written words, lines that people follow. A lot of the time, when you hear the word script, you'll think about a play or a movie or a TV show where all of the actors' lines and the background information is all given. That's generally what a script is, or customer service jobs, even. They all have
Hmm.
a lot of scripts as
Yeah.
well.
The next word is a beautiful word, the word queue. And I know for a lot of ESL students, they love this word because the word is spelled very weirdly. There is letter Q, and after this, you have four more letters. But
Mm.
technically, if you remove those four letters, the word would be the same. It's still going to be Q, you know?
It's
So it's technically letter Q and four letters queuing after letter Q.
also for vowels.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Four vowels.
Yeah.
Like, who came up with this word?
Yeah.
Anyway, the word queue means a line. When you're waiting in line to board the plane, to talk to a bank teller, or to pay for your groceries at a store. So that's a queue.
Yeah.
And Canadians love them, as we discovered
We
in our
do. We
previous
do.
episode.
Yeah. And also, just another little thing. Canadians do use the word queue, but also we use the word line
Yes.
interchangeably. But queue is more British English, line is American
Hmm.
English. That's why we kind of use both. Conduct is the way someone behaves. So, when you're talking about formal conduct or professional conduct, it's basically just how you act in these situations.
Hmm. The next word is a beautiful word, and it's the word ingrained. And if something is ingrained in you or in people as a nation, it means that it is deeply fixed habit or idea. This is something that is hard to change.
Yeah.
It's like apologizing to people when they bump into you in Canada. Yeah.
That is definitely ingrained in most
Hmm.
Canadians, I would say.
Hmm.
All right. Buckle up. Buckle up is an expression. Literally, it means to fasten your seatbelt in a car.
Uh-huh.
But figuratively, it means kind of prepare yourself. So we can use it in any situation. So if something's coming, like bad weather, bad traffic, a really long story I'm going to tell, I'm going to say, like, hey, buckle up. I got something to tell you.
I love this
There you go.
expression. It's such a good one. And the next one is the word combination pet peeve. Ooh, I love it so
Hmm.
much. And pet peeve is a small thing that annoys the hell out of you. So much than it probably should. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like my pet peeve, like my big pet peeve is slow walkers,
Ooh,
especially during rush hour on the subway or in the street. Oh God.
that is a big pet peeve of mine. Another pet peeve of mine is when you're driving and people don't signal when they're trying to get
Yeah.
into your lane. That's a big pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
All right, next is an idiom. And the idiom is counting your chickens before they hatch. And this idiom, I love this idiom because basically what it means is you're you're assuming something's gonna happen too early on, like before it actually happens. And this can be a little bit dangerous because you don't want to make some sort of assumption about an ending when you don't really know that that's going to happen, right?
Hmm.
So, yeah, the expression generally is like, don't count your chickens before they hatch,
Hmm.
don't assume something's going to happen when it might change.
Yeah. And hatch, sorry, did you mention what a hatch is?
Hatch? No, no, no.
Yeah.
Hatch is
Hmm.
when the chick comes out of the egg.
Yeah. They're
Yeah,
hatching.
that's hatch.
So cute. Staycation, a beautiful thing can be at times, and staycation is technically a vacation spent at home, especially when the flights are very expensive. And you can literally spend it in your house, or you can rent a hotel in your home city,
Yeah.
hometown, and just go there, stay there at a nice hotel, and just pretend as if you are somewhere else.
Yeah, they're
Gorgeous.
so fun. Cannot recommend them enough. I
Hmm.
had a staycation in Toronto over the summer with some girlfriends. So great. We went to a spa, visited some like restaurants we had on our list, uh, went to a Pilates class, which I don't
Nice.
know why.
Never
But yeah,
doubts. We go to spine Pilates class.
so fun, so fun.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. To get hooked on something. When you get hooked on something, you become very interested and almost like addicted to something. So
Uh-huh.
it can be like get hooked on a show, get hooked on a hobby. You can get hooked on a specific food or snack.
Or
Yeah.
a drink like
Or
French vanilla.
there you
This is
go.
what we were
Yeah,
talking about.
that's right.
The next word is hedging. And if you're hedging, it means that you use careful language to avoid being too direct. And Canadians hedge like it's a sport,
Yeah, we're
actually.
all pros at it.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. We're not always super direct with our things. Okay. Dietary restrictions, something that you should be direct about. So, dietary restrictions are foods that you either cannot eat or that you choose not to eat. So you can have, for example, if I have an allergy to like peanuts, that
Hmm.
is a dietary restriction of mine.
Yeah.
If, for example, I maybe don't eat gluten, like don't eat
Hmm.
breads or something, then that's also a dietary
Yeah.
restriction.
Or seafood very often.
Seafood, a lot of really common dietary restrictions.
Hmm.
Vegetarians and vegans also have specific dietary
Hmm.
restrictions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just something that we in Canada really consider a lot.
Hmm. Which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next word is the word mingle, also a very Western culture word, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And to mingle means to socialize casually with others, especially at some kind of events or parties. And it usually involves small talk. It involves snacks, drinks, and usually like walking around the place, talking to different people or different groups of people.
Yeah.
Mingling.
Fun. It's a fun thing to do.
Hmm.
Sober. Sober is when you are basically any time that you are not under the influence of alcohol or drugs,
Or any
right?
substance.
Any sort of substance is when we are sober. There is also another definition to mean like serious. When you're very seriously thinking about
Hmm.
something, then you can say you're sober. But more commonly, it's used to mean I'm sober, meaning I have not had any drinks or anything like
Like us right now.
yeah,
Very,
100% sober.
yep.
It's been a sober January.
The swarm, and swarm is a large group moving together, and usually it is used about the insects, but you can also use it about people, like, I don't know, the tourists swarm Toronto during the summer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
Nice. Implement. To implement something is to put a plan into action, which is a lot of the time easier said than done.
Yes, unfortunately. But the next word is the word dominate. And to dominate something or someone means to have control or be more powerful than the other person or other people.
Mhm.
And sport teams love this word a lot, especially like when or sport commentators, they like using this word.
Like, oh, this team is dominating this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next word. I love this word, anecdote. Such a cute little word. An anecdote is a short personal story, and it's often used just to like explain a point or add a little humor, add a little story to,
Mhm.
the conversation.
And it's a little bit of a false friend for Russian and Ukrainian speakers
That's right.
because in my first languages, the word anecdote is used as a joke. So it's like, ooh, let me tell you an anecdote. It means that I'm going to tell you a joke.
Oh,
So here in Canada, when for the first time I heard or I read it somewhere and someone told like a pretty tragic story from their life, and they said like, oh, this is like an example of my personal anecdote. And I was like, excuse me?
that's not funny.
That's not funny at all. Yeah. Anywhoops, you have to be very sophisticated to understand the difference between
Ooh.
anecdote as a tragic story, an anecdote as a joke.
Ooh.
So the word sophisticated is something complex, something refined or advanced. It can describe people or ideas or even coffee preferences or wine preferences. Like, ooh, this person has like such a sophisticated taste in food, and so
Yeah.
on and so forth.
I think we tried to be sophisticated, but I fail
We
at least.
tried. That's the tried is the key word
Try is the
here.
key word. Yes. All right. Next up, we have the word representative. A representative is someone or something that kind of stands in place for a group or an idea. So the context that we used in the episode was that I was like a kind of representative of
Mhm.
Canada when I was living in Korea, mainly because I was like the Canadian teacher. So I had to teach a lot about Canadian culture. I had to talk a lot
Language.
about Canada. So I kind of spoke a little bit in general for Canada as a group when I was educating people about Canada.
Yes. What? What? Sorry. Having the means, this is something that we all strive for and something that we dream about. So
Hmm.
having the means to have enough money or resources to do something, to buy things that you like, to travel to the places that you like, and just to afford yourself the level of life that you
Want
dream
to
of
live.
and want
Yeah,
to live. Yeah.
exactly. All right. Lastly, we have the word reputation. Reputation is what people generally think about someone or something. So it's like this idea that people have of someone or something. So you can have a good reputation or a bad reputation. A good reputation, very difficult to build,
Hmm.
very easy to lose.
Hmm.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. All right, folks. That wraps up our Canadian culture deep dive.
Yes, and if you understood this episode, congratulations. You are basically an honorary Canadian now.
That is so true. And just remember to bundle up, respect the queue or the line, and never underestimate a good staycation.
Yep. And if all else fails,
Just apologize politely
yeah,
and buckle
buckle up.
up.
Bye.